All right. Well, hello and welcome back to our series on remote work. In our first two conversations, we provided some background information, then discussed a perspective change with some success tips. My name is Ken Kahn, and I am the Director of Partnerships and Collaboration at i Technologies, where we help people with video communications. As always, I'm here with my friend and colleague, the person you really want to see and hear from.
I'm Roxanne Glauser, Director of Marketing and Learning with i Technologies. And in our conversation today, we're going to discuss some of the reasons why remote work is being implemented. So, we're going to start off with some of the technological advancements. So, previously, the technology just wasn't there. Everything from, we're going to talk about bandwidth, we're going to talk about home Wi Fi applications, things that weren't there. So just imagine the pandemic had happened in 2010 instead of 2020, Ken. It would have been a much different experience, don't you think?
Yeah, a lot more reading around the fire.
So, yeah, as we think about that, one of the things that immediately came to mind was that the home internet access. That was a game changer. There were so many people who already had, you know, home networks that they could easily tap into with a variety of devices and continue their work. So before that, it wasn't as widespread.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting how like the consumer market drives, the professional market too, because I think with the advent of so much streaming at home and gaming at home, it's like people needed to have, more higher bandwidth internet at home. And so, boom, pandemic happens and it's like, oh, okay, you know, we have the same quality. Some people might even have been like, I have better quality internet at my house than I do at my job. So that kind of changed things. And then I think the other thing that contributed was the applications that we use, the different technology applications, and then being able to adjust to the amount of bandwidth that you have at the moment. So, before it's like everybody needs to be up here if you want to use this. And now it's like, okay, if somebody's up here or somebody's down here, if I'm traveling somewhere and I'm connecting in from a place where the internet isn't as good as it usually is in my home office or at the corporate office, it's like, okay, well, it's still good enough where, the quality might not be as good, the audio might not be as good. In a bad location, it might even be choppy to some degree, but I can still connect. I can still communicate.
Yeah, tapping into that, as you think back to video applications, in the before times, before we had, basically, everyone has access to video communications, it was a very bandwidth intensive application. And so you would have to carve out on, I can remember we had physical internet connections. And so it would take up so much, you'd have to have a separate area just for to run your video, and you had separate specialized technology. So it wasn't like you can do your video conferencing on your computer or with your smartphone or on a tablet. It was dedicated video technology. You had to go to a specific location, have specific equipment, and specialize a separate set of a separate area for your bandwidth. And so now with it, as you were kind of alluding to, we have accessibility from the phone, the mobile device, from the laptop. And it's all of that, what used to take specialized equipment is done in the cloud now. So that was a huge shift of going from what we would call on-premise technology applications to that cloud computing aspect.
Yeah, I think the cloud computing, Wi-Fi access being available in so many locations now, being able to use the smartphone for so many things where maybe it's not conducive for me to pull my laptop out, but I can just do it from my smartphone. Those things have really changed. Like I can remember being when we helped support a virtual conference where one of the participants was in their vehicle And so they pulled over into the parking lot and they connected in off of their phone. And the funny thing is, like, we were there for the pre-check, like to make sure, all the video was good, audio was good, and before they even started presenting, they threw up a virtual background. Nobody even knew that he was in his vehicle. That's how solid the video was and the quality of everything.
That was the one because we were in the back channel, and I remember you saying, "Hey, this guy's connecting in his car." And so as I was checking in, everybody was like, "Okay, I got to see the guy." And I was like, "I can't find the guy in his car because he put that virtual background up." And you're like, and the quality was good.
Hmm.
And that coming from that background of having specialized equipment from a specific location to I can present at a conference from my phone in my car. I mean, that's when you talk about game changer, that's what really shifted it. We are not tied to a specific location.
Yeah, I can remember I was working in a school district in 2005, and I was responsible for the video communications that they were doing at the time. And so we had like a speech therapy program, and they wanted to connect in from home. And I had to, like you were talking about, I had to take like a physical video conferencing device. It was like anybody that's been around, it was like a Tandberg device. It kind of like sat, right in front of you. It had like the little screen and everything was like embedded in this device, but it needed a hardwired internet connection. It was iffy at best. It wasn't great. I think we got it to work, but there was lots of hoops to jump through. Like things were blocked, or the quality wasn't as high, and yeah, it's just completely different now.
And those devices were quite expensive. They were like three or
Yeah.
four thousand dollars back then.
Yeah, I think they were even more. I think they were closer to. I think they were more like 10
Yeah. So
for those
just
devices. Yeah.
you know, something that's super expensive, limited in location, quality's kind of sketchy. That's not, people are not going to widely adopt that as opposed to what we saw, where you're like, oh, okay, we can do it on our laptops or, as we mentioned, from all the devices and with the cloud computing, as we said, and more bandwidth. But then the other part of it, and this has been, I don't even know, the last several years as we kind of shifted from doing everything through email into more of the project management or the collaborative types of software with the Microsoft Teams type things to where you can you have a repository instead of it just being the documents. It's actually where you can work. You can have conversations. You can, always access the latest the latest revision. So, you've got the most current one. I think that was also really important to where when you can shift both your work day, if something comes up, maybe you're taking care of someone in the hospital, but you still have a deliverable that needs to be done and you need to come in the evening and get your work done as opposed to during the day where you can access that. And if there's conversations or things that are in there, I think that's another great tool for being able to work in different locations in different times.
Yeah, being able to check in with the team, being able to see where are things at without, having to be at the exact same hours or in the exact same location. That wasn't always as easy as it is today.
Mm-mm.
And I think, sometimes, even those of us that have been through the pain of those days, you kind of take it for granted because it's just like that's just how things work now. But those things weren't in place, it would make remote work very specialized and very hard for people to do. So just the whole shift in technology has really helped advance things. Are we ready to move into the people
All right.
piece of this?
Yes, let's do that.